Welcome to the Lifestyle Chase. This podcast features high performers who have found a way to live their best life while balancing their health, wellness, friends, and family. Proudly hosted by me, Chris Little. Without further ado, let's get started.
Welcome to episode 20 of the Lifestyle Chase with Chelsey Jensen.
Hello.
How are you doing today?
I'm doing great.
How's your day unfolded today?
It's been an interesting day. It's actually cool because this is such a long Christmas break.
Yeah.
And so I have almost 2-3 weeks off, and that is very, very rare, but I'm taking full advantage of it.
So what do you do when you get time off?
Well, I don't work so much at the radio station, so right now I'm having a break from radio, but I'm still working Oilers games, or I have a photo shoot on Saturday. So it never really stops, it just kind of changes. Or I have hockey practices to go help coach.
But it's enjoyable kind of stuff.
Oh, extremely.
That's awesome. If you had to do something sort of like to reset, to refresh, to fill your cup, what would it be?
First of all, I would take a nap. Sometimes sleep can be a very minimal thing in my life, so as soon as I have that stretch, like today I woke up at noon, and I don't even feel bad about it.
Nice.
But that is not a normal thing.
Yeah.
It's like, my dad always jokes with me that I go, like I'm like running, and then as soon as I have a day off, it's just like my whole life comes to a halt. And he's like, you can't keep doing that. He's just like, run, stop. Run, stop.
Have you ever had a time where you felt like you were burnt out?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Actually, it would have been this past summer.
Holy crap.
Well, I had just taken on this new role with Chorus, and so I was just kind of getting into the groove of everything, and I have a very high standard that I try to keep all of my work at, and so trying to do that while also doing all these other things, I learned how to manage it now, but when it was very fresh and we had concerts and festivals happening, I'm like, okay, I need to figure this out. I need to go to bed.
So let's paint a picture to our listeners about the busiest day you've ever had. Take us from start to finish. What time? What did you do? What did you eat?
Busiest day. Oh, well, I don't know. Honestly, I probably couldn't even tell you what I ate, because if you ask me, probably don't even remember what I had for dinner even last night.
That's fair.
Okay, so maybe the busiest day I've had would be, well, actually, not necessarily the busiest day, but the busy days during my week would be when I have Oilers games and I have to work radio at the same time. So typically what happens, if it all works out, sometimes I'll try to get into work, because I typically start work at 9 and end at 5. But when it's Oilers games, if I'm allowed to come in at 9 still rather than just leaving early. So sometimes I'll try to come in at like 8:30, 8, and then I'm leaving work the radio station at about 3:30, driving about a half an hour from the radio station, which is in South Edmonton, all the way to Rogers Place. And then I'm working there from pretty much like 4:45. Like, I get there and I have to put all my makeup on. So 5 and then till about 10, and then I have to drive all the way to Fort Saskatchewan where I live. So that's a normal. I have at least one of those a week. Which
that's wild. So like, how long would that day be? Like, when do you wake up for a day like that?
Well, like just working, that'd be like 13 hours, 14 hours, yeah. But it's like, is going to an Oilers game really, like, I'm not terribly mad that I get to go be on the ice.
Like, most games I've gone to, I can usually spot you, and it looks like you're having a good time. So
I gotta always have my big cheese grain on it. People make fun of me, but I'm like, well, like, make fun of me as in like, oh look, there you are again with your big smile.
Well,
like,
it's easy to spot. And then I've seen you have like a routine, a regimen for your teeth. Like, how do they get so white?
Oh, okay, well, first of all, I had 3 years of, braces. That was off. Grade 7 to 9.
Yeah.
And then after that, my uncle, he's actually a dentist, so then he gave me this, it's like a dentist grade, like the little trays that go in your mouth, and then you fill it with gel. But I really only do that once a year, and honestly, I lost the top tray, so I haven't been doing it for a while. But I use Crest 3D White. I do not work for Crest. But I use Crest 3D White, glamorous white toothpaste, and then the matching mouthwash. Yeah. I do not endorse Crest, but I do.
Well, I mean, you might get a brand ambassador spot for them at one point.
I feel like I already do that, except I don't get paid for it. No free toothpaste here.
One day they'll send it to you.
Oh yeah, that'd be a great day.
So when did you start working as part of the Oilers crew?
I started back in 2015, I want to say. I was still in radio school, or sorry, TV. I went to TV.
Yeah.
I was doing TV, and then it's funny how that actually all worked out, because I started as we're going to just backtrack a little. We're going to go back to high school.
Yeah.
I switched high schools in grade 11, and my first day of high school, I really only knew probably about 5, maybe 10 people out of the whole high school. And it was a pretty big high school back out in Ardrossan. And on the intercom, they said, "Oh, we're looking for a mascot." And I'm like, okay. Like, I am one of those people that I never say no to pretty much anything that I get offered.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, I'm taking this opportunity. So I went to the teacher, found out, ended up getting the role as the mascot. And then when I got to Nate to be in the radio and television program, someone found out in the sports department, which I've never talked to in my whole life, that I was a mascot in high school, and they were looking for a Nate Ook.
Yeah.
And I ended up doing that. You got paid some sweet money. So if anyone wants some sweet dough while you're at Nate, go be the Ook. It's super easy and really fun. But then where we're getting with this is when I was still at Nate, I had somebody, his name's Kyle Ferguson from the Edmonton Oilers organization, reach out to me over LinkedIn because I had my mascot stuff on my LinkedIn. It was pretty much, I worked at McDonald's, I was a mascot, I worked at Safeway. Those were the only things that were really on there because I didn't have much experience doing anything else.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Hey, like we were looking for a backup Oil Kings mascot.
Yeah.
Would you be interested in coming in for an interview?" I'm like, sure, I'll come in for an interview. And pretty much what happened is we ended up talking, and they figured out that I could skate. I was in TV and I do promotions, like because I used to work for 91.7 The Bounce, Dinner Television and Sonic on their street team. And so they found out I did that, and they're like, "Okay, how about you be the backup Oil Kings mascot, and then you can be on the ice crew?" And I'm like, done deal. Like, I will gladly do it. So that was that was the year I started, was Farrell Rexall. Coolest year ever.
That's wild.
Yeah.
So how would somebody new get into something like that? Do they just apply with like Oilers Entertainment Group, or how does the process go?
So each year we, technically at the end of the season, I'm not a part of the ice crew kind of. We rehire. Like, we have to do an audition period.
Yeah. And
so you just go online at Oilers, I think it's just Oilers.com, and then just look up the ice crew. And it'd be fill out your RSVP and application. So that's how you do it. Every single year I have to reapply and go to the audition. So if you go, I'll see you there.
It just seems like a neat opportunity just for anybody listening that like wants to be part of like the Oilers environment and stuff.
Oh yeah, and like being a part of all the games, like I get to go on the ice during the game.
Yeah.
It's funny because my grandparents, they live in Salt Lake City, Utah. And sometimes when I'm down, because our outfits are orange, like bright orange, and pretty much everyone else in the Zamboni tunnel is wearing dark black or dark blue or whatever. And my grandparents will send me pictures. They finally figured out how to take photos like on their iPhone, and so they'll send me pictures of me standing in the Zamboni tunnel. I'm like, yes, that's me again. It's really awesome though.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
What's the coolest thing that's ever happened while you were working a game?
Honestly, I'm gonna have to say just the Farrell Rexall game in general.
Yeah.
Just being able to be a part of such a historic moment in Oilers history, that was amazing. Like, I may not have been a part of everything at the beginning because I'm only 22, so. And I also used to be a figure skater before this, so I was never. My brother was the hockey player, not me, so I kind of came into this a little late. But yeah, I would definitely say the Farrell Rexall game, or even just like on a regular game when you get to go and make someone stay. So we have these things called I Remember Moments, and being able to go and like give a kid a puck, like watching their face just light up when you hand them that game puck, they're like, it's the coolest thing.
That is really cool.
Yeah.
How long have you been a figure skater, or when did you start figure skating?
Figure skating? I don't exactly remember when I started, but I had done it for 8 years, and then I did it over the summer. I kind of tried out ringette, figured out that was not for me. No offense to ringette players. And then I went into hockey, and I actually quit playing last year, and now I kind of coach. It's hard to be very super committed just because of all the other things that I'm up to, but
yeah,
so
makes sense.
8 years of doing figure skating, and then 8 years of playing hockey, and now this is like my 9th year of being a part of hockey.
Yeah. Did you get pretty competitive in figure skating, or you just had fun?
I actually did quite a few competitions.
Nice.
You kind of get to a point when you're in figure skating. It's like if you're not going to the Olympics, like there's no rec figure skating.
Yeah.
And so my parents, especially my dad, has always kind of pushed me to just like be out doing sports all the time. Just keep active, keep doing stuff. And honestly, sometimes I know you're a fitness guy. I just cannot figure out what I want to do in the gym. But if I can go for a rip on the ice, I'm totally down. Yeah. So then I took up hockey because I'm like, I can do this later. And I still, like, I'll go play shinny Whenever I feel like someone's like, oh, I always have my skates, sticks, puck, or gloves and helmet. So if anyone ever wants to play shinny, I'm always down. It's always in my car.
Yeah, that's the way to be. Like, I honestly, usually my trunk has snowshoes.
Wow.
And skates and not always the stick, not always the helmet. But this weekend I'll be packing the stick and the helmet because we're having like a family get together with some shinny. And it's always good to just have fun.
Totally.
Not really worry about stuff, and then when it's like in a rural rink, it makes it even better because you get that nice calm atmosphere. Some of your really biffs, there's no like neighbor kids looking out there.
Like, hey, what's happening?
Totally.
Actually, the craziest thing with shinny was a Sunday. I am very new to kissing country at this point, and Greg Reynolds, who does the Drive Home show, he called me on Sunday, and I was very new, and I answered the phone. I didn't even say hi. I was like, what's wrong? Because I figured if they're calling me, there's something wrong. And he's like, hey, Chelsey, like, chill. There's nothing wrong. He's like, what are you doing tomorrow? And then I was really confused because I'm like, wait, tomorrow's Monday. What do you mean, what am I doing tomorrow? Like, I'm coming to work. I'll see you there. He's like, okay, we're going to play shinny with Dirk Bentley. I'm like, sorry, what?
That's
I was
cool.
just in shock. And it's really funny because it ended up being minus 30. I think it was like minus 32. So icicles on my eyelashes. Everyone's got icicles all over their beards, and we're out there playing freaking shinny with Dirk Bentley on Monday.
Yeah.
So that sounds like, wow, this is a really cool job.
Totally. So you did the film program at Nate.
Yeah.
And what inspired you to get into that? Because I know I've seen in some of your social media stuff that you weren't always thinking of doing that, but what kind of made the light bulb flash that you're like, yeah, this is what I'm going to do?
Well, it's actually really funny because a long time ago, probably back when I was in junior high, maybe even elementary, my dad gave me a point and shoot little pink Canon camera, and I don't even know how I decided this is what I wanted to do. I would just start taking videos of myself or the neighbor kids or my brothers and sister, or like my brother and sister, of us lip singing videos. But I had a cousin that showed me how to do all this stuff, and I'm like, I need to figure. And she had a Mac, so it was super fancy. But so I was like, okay, so I would record all these things on this little point and shoot camera, and I would download it onto this little PC device that I had to edit stuff. Figured out how to edit stuff kind of on my own, and then from there I kind of just progressed. And when I was in grade 11, I was in Spanish class. We had to lip sing to more videos, and we were using an iPad. I'm like, oh, this is my thing. Like, editing videos is my jam.
Yeah.
So then from there, I actually graduated high school, and I honestly didn't want to do anything at first because I had so much fun. Like, I was a mascot. I got to MC grad. I was I had a grad committee. Like, all these fun things that really have nothing to do with school, but are just really about this one day of graduating. Mm-hmm. And from there, I didn't really want to do anything. And my dad was like, no, you're going to school. Like, so my dad actually enrolled me at Nate, and he put me into the DMIT program. So digital media IT. And no offense to him, he enrolled me in a bunch of classes I didn't like. He already knows that, so this is not going to break the news. And from there, I was in my Photoshop class, and I was like, okay, I really like doing Photoshop. I really like editing videos. I need to figure out something else because I can't do 3 more semesters of this. Yeah. No offense. Like, I did not like that program at all. So then I found out, I was like, okay, I'm going to do the radio and television program. So then I applied, because when you apply to Nate, you have to enroll or kind of apply to 2 different things at the same time. So I applied to radio, and then I applied to TV, hoping I was going to get accepted to TV because I figured that would be more video based. It's actually cool now that you see radio, they're doing a lot more videos and stuff, which I think is cool. But so that's how I got into all that. Long story, but very random. And then I was very happy that I ended up there.
Did you ever have thoughts of going to like a different school, or Nate just like fit the bill for you kind of thing?
100%. The one thing that I was very tedious about was doing the on-air aspect. I always, in my family, I pretty much am the loudest one of the bunch. So yeah, I never really had a problem with being on air, but my teachers, they kind of ended up, because I knew that I really wanted to edit videos. That was just totally my thing. But then with all these weird lip sync videos, I like being on camera. I have no problem with that. So then my teachers, they kind of pushed me into that. And then the coolest part was when I was in Nate, Brian Mudrick actually reached out to me. So Brian Mudrick from TSN, he actually calls the Montreal Canadiens games.
Okay.
And it was really cool because he reached out to me. He's like, while I was in school, and basically ended up being my mentor throughout the whole thing. and really gave me a lot more encouragement behind being on air, because he's like, okay, every single time you do an on-air segment at Nate, send it to me and I'm going to critique it. And when I was like, okay, if this is how it's going to work, you need to tell me, you need to be an a-hole. That's what I told him. I was like, you have to be an a-hole, because if you're going to be nice to me and say like, oh, it's all good, I'm not going to learn anything. So like, you got to tell me what I'm doing wrong and what I'm doing right, because I want to excel. I'm always ready to rock. And so from there, he basically took me under his wing, and that's why I went to Lloydminster, is because he pushed me to that direction, which was awesome. Yeah.
So like little things like that really probably set you apart in building up your career, hey?
Oh yeah.
How do you think a person would get that mentorship opportunity? Just like a good attitude, or like...
Oh yeah. I think that being positive is the best way you can go about anything in life, but I definitely would recommend LinkedIn.
Yeah.
I honestly wouldn't, because that's how I got the Oilers job, was through LinkedIn, and that's how I got Brian Mudrick, was through LinkedIn. It was just, I wouldn't have anything if it wasn't for that website, which I also am not paid to say that.
Yeah. Has any other social media platform been a catalyst for you, or is it mostly LinkedIn?
Definitely LinkedIn in more of a business way, but as for like a personal branding way, I'm gonna have to go with Instagram.
Yeah.
I feel like if anyone follows me, I'm kind of annoying. I post a lot, but I just like spreading positivity, or like sharing what I'm up to, or... Yep.
And I think the thing with that kind of stuff is you're going to have people that are like, no, I've had enough of this. But the people who are like, I love this, they don't care how much you post.
Yeah, it's
and
true.
That's we just have to own that. Because I know for myself, like, I have a small following, but a nice following.
Hey, everyone starts small and they grow.
Oh, totally. And what I like about the people who follow me now is like they're invested in who I am. So if I post like 4 times in a day, I definitely will try not to. But if I did, they'd be like, all right, he's having a good day. And if I didn't for a while, like I've had people check in with me.
Like, hey, that's how invested. Right? That's good though.
Which is awesome. When did you start your Instagram account?
It's actually really funny you asked that, because I was just talking to my sister and my stepbrother about that. But I think it was about 7 years, about 6-ish years ago.
Holy
But
crap.
like, yeah, that's kind of when it first came out. And
yeah.
But even if you scroll all the way to the bottom of my page, I've deleted stuff since then, because that's like, I didn't even know how to use the app back then. It was like, hey, look what I'm eating for dinner. Or, hey, I got this new elastic. Check this out. It's like, nobody cares.
The first, 3 years of me having Instagram, every post that I did was a picture of a toilet paper roll.
That's amazing.
I thought it was hilarious. I was like, I'm so funny.
But there's so many people that it's like, oh, here's this chipmunk, or here's this squirrel doing funny things. Yeah. I don't know why, but... And then you get that... whatever. But then you get that niche audience where it's just, that's what they want to see.
Totally. I think... social media is good when it's used for good.
Oh, yes.
It can definitely be something that, brings people down big time.
Well, the one thing I definitely thinking about a good experience is with Kissin' Country. We actually did this Kissin' Country Christmas wish for this adorable little guy named Hudson. And it was actually really cool, because the wish that we were granting them, we got his Hudson Strong t-shirts, because he was battling... he had the flu, and then he ended up with H1N1 and had to get part of his leg amputated. And so Chris Sheets was definitely behind all this, but he got his shirts to be put into United Cycle to be sold. So all these awesome Hudson Strong t-shirts. And then they also got Connor McDavid. Connor McDavid found out, or the Oilers organizations found out, and Connor went and visited him, and I got to share this amazing video of Hudson being wheeled around the corner and Connor standing in the doorway. Like, I have goosebumps just talking about it. And you just watch Hudson's face, and he just lights up like a Christmas tree. So that's the cool thing about social media. You get to see all these awesome things.
Totally. So one of the things that made you kind of stand out as being a guest for this is, for myself, something you might not know about me is I had a plan that I was going to go to film school. I was actually going to go to Vancouver Film School. And I went to a 2-day intensive, and I was like, I love editing videos. This is my jam. I'm going to do this. But then I talked myself right out of it.
No.
I was like, I'd go into the program. I wouldn't get a job. It'd be tough. And it is tough.
They said the same thing about radio and TV.
Well, totally.
They still do. It's an honest thing.
The thing is that you prove people wrong. And it's the best thing to see is somebody like yourself, making a name for themselves.
I really appreciate that. Oh my.
You bet. It's good. You stand out for it. So How did you get started with your role with Kissing Country and everything that you do with social media? Tell us about your job capacity, what your role involves today.
Yeah. So the way it all started was when I was back in Lloydminster. I was a reporter. I was just an intern because I was finishing my practicum with Nate. And I ended up taking on a new role called Master Control Operator, but I got to also be part of still reporting kind of like on my days off. I didn't do too much of it, but I was still able to kind of keep my hand in that pot. But the coolest thing was when I was there, one of the last little beats that I was on was when Pokemon Go was a hot new thing. And that was my thing. So if anything came down from Pokemon Go, I was like, oh, Chelsey, you got a story. Chelsey, oh, you're out. Let's go.
Yeah.
So I'd be like up in the middle of the night going to like all these Pokemon Go spots where people were just like at this little hub catching Pokemon. It's very interesting. So then that's kind of where I really figured out that I really like social media or technology, but also reporting stories and keeping everything entertaining. And so when I was a master control operator, that's kind of what I was thinking the whole time. And before I had left to go to Lloydminster, I actually had done a job interview for, it's kind of like a weekend reporter position, kind of taking on or helping out with Lorraine Manbridge from Global News, which is funny now because I work with them.
Yeah.
Like a kind of like a weekend reporter. I think she was going on a holiday or something. I can't remember, but they wanted 2 people. So I went in and applied because, again, I never say no to an opportunity. So you asked me to apply for something? Sure. I'll put my hand in the pot. I'll do my best. If I get it, awesome. If I don't, it was a great learning experience. And it was cool because I actually ended up getting 3rd. And which kind of was a best case scenario because I didn't really know if that was kind of the thing that I wanted to do. But I did really want to apply and just get that experience of that job kind of interview style because I've never done an on-air interview. And it was cool because that lady then told me, she's like, okay, in the future, keep me in contact because I think you're great. I was like, oh, that's so awesome. So I was sitting in master control, didn't really like that job. That's pretty much where, for anyone that doesn't know what master control operator is, it's where you take TV shows from the East Coast, you chop them up, and you air them on our channel. It's hard to explain, but that's exactly what I did. So from there, I emailed her, and I was like, hey, is there anything that is in Edmonton that kind of has social media or video or photo-based? And she's like, whoa, oddly enough, here's this job that kind of just opened up. I'm like, okay, read the to-dos. I was like, oh, I could do most of these things. But the problem was that it said it was like 3 to 5 years of industry experience. I'm like, what? Like, I don't even have 3 months. Like, not even, like, and even if I did have 3 months of experience, it wasn't in that field. And so I was like, whatever, I'll apply, and we'll see what goes from there. And he ended up calling me. I ended up getting a second call back, just an over-the-phone interview, and then they asked me to come in for an interview. I'm like, this is actually nuts. I didn't even think that I would make it past the first, like, I didn't even think they'd call me. And if they did call me, I didn't think they'd call me back. And then that's how I ended up in Edmonton because of, her name is Eve Noga, and she works at Global News, and yeah, she was the one that told me about this job. And then from there, just this past summer, so I've been working there for now just over 2 years. And this past summer, so a year and a half into my job, I actually got promoted. So instead of just doing the 2 stations in Edmonton, which were Kissing Country 103.9 and 92.5 The Chuck, I now also take care of digitally Kissing Country, 92.5 The Chuck, Q107 in Calgary, and also Country 105 in Calgary.
Holy crap.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's like, but it's really cool.
Yeah. Do you have like short-term goals for the next 12 months as far as career go, or just like go where the wind takes you kind of thing?
Pretty much I'm going with go with where the wind takes me just because it's so new to me. So I always use this analogy with pretty much any of the higher ups at Chorus when they talk to me about it, or when they first talked to me about this new position.
Yeah.
I pretty much when I got there, because this was such a new role for everyone, being the digital content coordinator for the 2 stations in Edmonton. So what I felt like is as soon as I got there, they just dropped this box on my desk. So like, even though I had a list of to-do, like all the things that were my responsibilities, it's kind of, okay, where are your strengths? Where are your weaknesses? Like, what can you do? What holes can you fill here? And so I figured out my box. I sorted my box. I'm like, okay, I got it. I have it under control. And now, this past summer, because I got these 2 new stations, it's like they added a new box. I'm like, I just sorted this box. Now I have a new box to sort. So I'm pretty much just working on figuring out how to work with what I got.
Totally. As you take on like more roles, more stations, like does your career fulfillment increase? Do you get paid better? Do you get more benefits, or is it kind of just like hustle for like a a promotion kind of thing? Like how does the industry work?
That's what's crazy is because I get asked this question a lot because people want to know, okay, what's your next step? Okay, well, if you were to ask me this a year and a half ago, the job that I have now didn't even exist. And also, if you were to ask me 4 years ago, the digital content coordinator, that job didn't even exist. Yeah. So honestly, I can't answer that part of the question because I don't know. Yeah. I don't know what actually lies ahead of me because I just took on these 2 stations. So I'm pretty much just rolling with it, trying to do my best, always keeping my standard high and seeing where it takes me.
Totally. What are the 5 coolest things that have happened at work?
Whoa, 5. Okay, I'm gonna definitely have to go with Dierks Bentley Shinny because I love hockey and I love country music. Even though it was minus 32, and if anyone knows me, they know that I have a heater under my desk that I actually blew the breaker of because that's how hot I like. So yeah, the minus 32 is just not my jam.
Yeah.
Second coolest would have been meeting Garth Brooks and Trisha Yearwood for the first time. It's crazy meeting them because they make you feel like you're family.
Yeah.
Which is nuts because obviously I've never met them and I definitely am like, oh my god, it's Garth Brooks. Like
they
freaking
seem
out.
To have a really good aura about them.
Oh
like,
yeah.
Any of the speaking interviews that I've seen have been like, that just makes me feel warm.
You're like, wait, are you talking right to me?
Yeah.
Did you just say my name? Yeah. So it's really cool. And then I actually got to end up meeting them, seeing them again when they came and were helping out with Habitat for Humanity in Edmonton. And also meeting Jimmy Carter, like President Jimmy Carter.
Yeah.
That was crazy. I'm like,
yeah.
But it was crazy because they actually ended up they had to put lines on the ground where I couldn't walk over because you weren't allowed to get too close to them. That was just wild to me. So all these crazy things. Okay, 3. This is tough. It's hard to narrow it down. Honestly, I just want to keep saying because there was 3 instances where I met Garth Brooks.
Yeah.
So I just want to say all 3 of those. Okay. This is actually a very hard question.
But it's cool because you've had so many cool things happen, so
yeah.
I know you have fun.
I know.
It's just a matter of picking through them.
Okay, well, one of them, this one has nothing to do with country music celebrities, but I'm definitely have to go with the first time I got to meet Chris Sheets. I will never forget this moment because it was my very first meeting ever, and I've always listened to Kissin' Country, huge Kissin' Country listener.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting in this meeting. I've never met Chris Sheets yet, and he walks in. I'm sitting in the chair, just any chair in this boardroom.
Yeah.
And he walks in, straight face, so straight face.
Yeah.
And I have this like magical image of him that like, oh, this is such a nice guy. You're listening to him on the radio. He's like, you're in my seat. I was like, I honestly almost crapped my pants. I was like, oh. He's like, oh, I'm just kidding. And then since then, he's always just like, he'll always like punch my shoulder and call me kid or like. Because I'm also the same age as his kids, but it's just like such a funny dynamic. He's like my work dad. That's what I think of him as.
Well, it seems like he really like looks out for you, kind of thing. Just from what I can see from the social media and stuff, and the banter back and forth, it's neat.
Yeah, exactly.
To see such a supportive like work environment.
Oh yeah, and like I got a Christmas card from Jack Sweeney, and I opened it up. I almost started crying because she's like, "Thank you for always encouraging us to be more positive." I'm like, what? Like, it's not like I ever do any of this stuff. Like, this stuff is just because I want to do that. But when people, like, when you just told me, like, me doing, like, my goals, you notice that. I'm like, what? Like, people notice this stuff. I just do it because I want to. And when people reach out, I'm like, that is really cool.
Attitude sets people apart. Like, that's kind of why I want to promote it. I want to tell people, like, being yourself and just having a good attitude no matter what life throws your way is going to set you apart. Whether it's fitness or whether it's radio, TV, anything. Well,
especially when we live in like a Kardashian kind of world.
Totally.
Where everyone just kind of wants to fit this mold. And it's like, no, break the mold. Yeah. Be whatever you want. I was a mascot. That's weird. So awesome. I'm 5'1" and I was a mascot.
That's like the perfect build for a mascot.
Oh yeah. Like that's like the perfect build. Do you ever go to a Rush game when we had the Edmonton Rush?
Saw a bunch of the video highlights and never made it to one, which sucks because they were such a good team.
They were good.
We lost them.
Yeah, but they're in Saskatoon now?
Yeah.
Yes.
And they're selling out the stadium.
Yeah, selling out. That's awesome. But they have a mascot, and so the mascot, I think the jersey had a 1 on it. Okay. And then they had another mascot, which was a 1.5. Or just a half. Okay. I'm like, that could have been me.
Yeah.
I could have been the half.
Missed opportunity.
I know. I was volunteering selling 50-50 tickets. That's the reason why I was in there.
Nice.
Yeah.
What's it like selling 50-50 tickets? Is it a pleasant experience or does it ever get like agonizing?
It's pretty fun, actually. I feel like I'm a pretty loud person, so when you get to stand there, and it's not like I really knew, especially back then I didn't really know anybody, so you just stand there and yell get your 50-50 tickets here.
Yeah, I guess that
Yeah,
works.
it doesn't even matter. And then you end up having like chats with random people, and I love talking. If you haven't noticed.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I had no problem with that.
Did you ever get to see the winner? Like,
no,
when somebody
I got to be a
wins?
part of the actual drawing of the tickets, though. I never personally drew it, but I was in the room.
Yeah, that's exciting. I always just would like to see the expression of a person that wins like $80,000.
I know.
Like, I'm always kind of like looking to.
Because I think the Oilers game. Yeah. Or like, okay, someone didn't claim their ticket the other night. What was it, like $200,000 or something at the Oilers game? I'm like, oh man, I probably would first faint in my chair.
Yeah.
Then like I wouldn't be able to walk up the stairs because I would just feel so like not necessarily empty, but you know what I'm saying, just like, wait, this is not happening.
Yeah, like if I won that, I would have to compose myself before I moved.
I know.
I always like think about what would happen if somebody noticed that you won the thing. Like, would you get attacked?
I
Or,
know.
like, what would
I know.
happen?
I'm like, wait, don't announce your name. What are you doing?
Yeah, it's crazy. Well, I guess sometimes I think I've seen a few instances where they say like the winner was anonymous kind of thing.
Yeah.
Because.
Oh yeah, I would do that.
That would be crazy. If people know who you are, all of a sudden they're like, oh yeah, remember that $500 you owed me? What $500?
Yeah.
That's wild. And like Edmonton always beats the record for like 50-50 sales too.
It's crazy. I was at a concert one time and they had 50-50s. I was like, wait, when do they announce the number? Like, and I still have no idea when that answer, like when they actually do it. But I remember walking in, I saw all the little blue t-shirt things. I'm like, what?
They tricked you. They got you.
Weird. I did not fall for it.
Sometimes they announce that stuff online though, so that could be it. So I've seen how your dad kind of is like the real MVP of everything.
Yes.
Like, didn't he clean your car the other day?
Yes. Yes, he definitely did. I had just I actually borrowed his second car to go drive down to Calgary to go work in Calgary with those other two stations.
Yeah.
And I came back and I pull into his driveway to drop off his car. I'm like, I didn't even recognize my car. It was so clean. And then he cleaned the inside and everything. He is honestly the biggest support system of everything that I do. Like when I was living in Lloydminster, and I actually worked on the ice crew when I was living in Lloydminster.
Oh.
Yeah, crazy, right? So I'd work from 5 a.m. until 3, get in my car, drive 2 hours, meet my dad in Sherwood Park, and then drop off my car in Sherwood Park. And then my dad would drive me the rest of the way to Rogers. And sometimes he would even drive me all the way from Rogers all the way back to Lloydminster and then stay with me for a few days and then drive me back. He is literally the best person in my life. So supportive of everything.
No kidding.
I don't even really know how to formulate words to how appreciative I am to have him in my life.
Well, I'm gonna try and get you to formulate words.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Ask a question.
What are his 5 best qualities that you look up to the most?
He is extremely forgiving. So anytime anything happens that's one reason why I feel like I'm an overly apologetic person is because even if it's not his fault, he's gonna say sorry and he's gonna figure out a way to make it better. He's very thankful. So everything that he has, he knows that it's because he worked for it, and he makes me know that. So everything that I have in my life, that's why sometimes I get a little, I don't want to say offended because that's just such a 2018 word. Where people, I'm so offended. But yeah, when people say like, oh, you're so lucky to have all these jobs, it's like, am I lucky? I actually worked really, really hard. Yeah. But then I don't want to be cocky.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a fine line. Another one would be definitely loving. So everyone in his life, my dad can be kind of a shy guy, which is where we do not relate. But just making sure that everyone knows that there's how many different ways of expressing love, and he is the one that he will do actions for you. So cleaning your car or cleaning my room. That when I used to live at his house, that was something he would do randomly. I'm like, oh, thank goodness. Because sometimes my room, like when I'm just like on a mission throughout the week, it's like I get back, I'm like, oh my gosh, there's literally a bomb that just went off in my room. But then he cleaned it up for me. Like, oh god,
that's amazing.
Yeah, well, that would have taken forever. That's why I didn't do it. 2 more qualities. I'm gonna go with those are my top 3. I have to think about 2 more, but
okay, that's fair.
Yeah.
What are some qualities that you want to embody because of him?
Definitely being thankful, which I definitely feel like I do embody.
Yeah.
That's why people make fun of me on lots of my posts on Instagram. I'll put #grateful on a lot of things, and then there's been multiple times where if I'm posting something, someone around me will be like, "Oh, don't forget #grateful." I'm like, okay, you're making fun of it, but I legitimately am grateful.
Yeah.
Definitely kind of like swallowing your pride sometimes and just taking life how it is and rolling with the punches. Unexpected things happen. I didn't always have the not that I didn't have the easiest childhood growing up, but I definitely had my fair share of trials with family. Yeah. And just being able to overcome those and know that those don't necessarily define me. They actually have made me who I am.
Yeah.
So I feel like any trial that you take, my dad has taught me that, okay, you can either be down in the dumps or you can take that and make it into who you are and help it grow you in a positive way rather than, oh, well, poor me. Oh, well, I didn't get to do this because this and this happened. It's like, well, you could take that and turn it into something that's better. Where it's like, I didn't get to this, but now I have all this experience that I'm going to go this way and I'm going to go the positive route. And that always will take you to the better way.
Yeah, because there's so many things that can go wrong in like a person's family life and their career.
Yeah.
And it's going to happen. So it's like, how are you going to tackle that?
Exactly.
And that goes back to attitude, just how much it pays off just to have a positive attitude. Like, think about the times when you probably had to like do something for free to further your career. How has your dad supported you for that kind of stuff?
Oh, he's definitely supported me financially. Well, especially he put away a lot of money. My mom and him actually put away a lot of money for me to go to school, which is awesome. So so that was the cool thing is I got to start out and I got to try a different program and realize that wasn't for me. Yes, that was probably $1,600 to $2,000, but that was money that they had saved up for me. So the fact that I was able to not necessarily waste that money, but use that money to figure out what I wanted to do and end up in radio and television. Mm-hmm. And then from there, he just says, a couple things. Oh, I got paid for a couple things, but like sometimes you don't get paid a whole bunch of money. Yeah. And I'm also living at his house, so he's helping me pay for that. But I got to work on like the Amazing Race Canada. So they paid us, they didn't pay us over like a ton of money, but they paid us a bunch. And I was a student, so any money really helped. And the fact that I had my dad to lean on where it's like, hey, can you help me with my gas? Or pretty much anything I needed, my dad's like, yep, I gotcha. As long as you keep working hard. Yeah. That's kind of his mentality about all that.
Yeah, and really it kind of seems like you owned up to your end of the deal. Like, so many people don't have that work ethic to carry out their side of things. And it's like, oh, yeah, here you go. And the person just ends up being lazy. Oh, yeah. But your work ethic is pretty good from what I can tell. Yeah, which is awesome.
I definitely think that whatever you end up, all the work that you put into is what you're going to get back.
Yeah.
Or even if you get half of the work, the stuff that you get back from what you put in, that's even better.
Well, I mean, sometimes we just have to accept that what we put out into the world, we're not always going to get that same amount back.
Yeah.
But we're not going to get anything if we don't put anything out to the world.
Exactly.
Like,
it's all about attitude.
Attitude, totally. That's going to be
attitude is gratitude.
Reoccurring theme. Attitude is gratitude. Those are like your two favorite words.
Yes.
But I totally relate to the grateful post, like that hashtag. I think if anybody could use it, I think you can totally own that hashtag. And honestly, people are going to chirp. Haters are going to hate.
Oh, I'm very, very used to that. That's another thing. Okay, we're going to come back to my dad. Another thing my dad has always told me is that you're never going to please everybody. Totally. And I feel like I'm like myself. I'm very much a people pleaser. So that has been a very hard lesson to learn sometimes because you just want to make sure everyone's happy all the time. And then when you can tell that they're not happy, I take it personally.
Yeah.
Which is really hard. That's a really hard thing for me to do sometimes, just to turn that off. And I can't sometimes.
Yeah.
But yeah, learning to just accept the fact that people aren't going to like you. And that's just how it is.
The toughest instance for that, like toughest example that you're willing to share?
I'm going to go, honestly, sometimes just the industry of what you're working in, and this goes for anybody, any industry, when you kind of start, I don't really like saying that I'm not like the top of the cream of the crop or whatever that came out of the radio and television program, but sometimes just working so closely with people in the same industry, and you're all trying to figure out a way to climb your way to the top or make your break or get those contacts. We're all fighting at the same level. Yeah. And so sometimes I feel like just being in the same industry as people that also have the same goals is very difficult. Because you're trying to be friends with everybody, you're also trying to make a name for yourself, and you're trying to start your career. So trying to have all that stuff on and have it all work together doesn't work sometimes.
What's been your strategy? What's some lessons that you've learned for like staying upbeat and positive throughout all those trials and tribulations?
Definitely keep on smiling, because not that I try to piss people off, but whenever I'm happy, anyone that doesn't like me, like, they're probably going to be upset that I'm so happy. Like, that's just how it is. Because people that don't want you to succeed are going to be mad when they see you succeeding, or even if you're just happy.
Yeah.
So someone could try to beat you down, and the fact that you're not going to let anything beat you down and you're just going to keep on chugging away, I think that says more than anything your mouth could ever say.
And I like that, because just like you talk about competitiveness in your industry, like the fitness industry is savage for it.
I would not.
There are so many trainers, so many different angles to take it. There's like nutrition coaches, so many different things. It's all social media. It's all this stuff.
Yeah.
And like somebody can present a certain image, and who they are on social media may or may not be the same as who they are behind the scenes. Like,
totally.
I think the best thing anybody could do is just, if you're gonna have like somebody who you are on social media, be that same person behind the scenes as well.
But then,
Like,
with that being said, sometimes it's hard because I've had people reach out to me, or whenever I do some of those, like, ask me anything things on the Instagram stories, people will be like, how are you always so happy? But, like, that's also, like, people need to also remember that I'm not a robot.
yeah.
Do I cry? Hell yes, I cry.
Yeah.
Am I going to post about that on Instagram? Absolutely not.
No.
I don't think that negative things like that should be shared on social media. Some people may be mad about that. But I just think that on social media, you should be putting your best foot forward all the time, because that's like your resume. Because like my job, which was super funny to find out, but a year into my job, I was told that not only did they obviously read my resume and my LinkedIn that I attached together, but they went and they watched my YouTube videos.
Yeah.
And so that's me singing to Michael Bublé and doing a whole bunch of different lip syncing videos, or even like my Nate TV demo tape. So they watched all those silly videos, but anyone can find you on social media. And if you've got like half naked pictures of you on there, if that's not like your brand, like if you're trying to be, like if you're trying to get a job, sometimes your employer's not going to like that.
Oh, totally.
So I think you always got to keep it clean, keep it positive, and keep it professional.
Yeah. Yeah. And like even people who post their vulnerability posts and stuff that's sad, it's fine for them to do that. It's basically like a line where like, what are you comfortable with sharing? Because some people are and some people aren't.
Oh, and it's totally your call on everything.
And then I think the angle that I think is most important is, if you are like a bundle of joy and super positive and supportive of people, it's great to be able to meet them in person and see that they generally are like that is something that they do, that they are going to these events, that they take pride in like the helping sick kids, that they aren't just like, that was a stupid moment in my career, you know? Like,
yeah.
And I think with yourself, like I can totally tell that that's who you are, like on camera and off camera, which is great.
Appreciate that. Oh, thank you.
And
I didn't come here to get my tires pumped.
Well, you're so genuine when you get your tires pumped. Like, you're not just like, oh yeah, I hear that all the time. Because like, I've seen when you put out like the ask me questions things on Instagram, and people are giving you lots of compliments. There's also like a ton of dudes trying to slide in your DM. That's another story.
Oh gosh, yeah, that is so. Okay, but I have to admit, some of those people that are asking me to hang out, those are girls.
Oh, okay.
But just wanting to like hang out or like be friends.
Oh, totally.
Yeah, which I'm like, wait a second, those aren't all guys.
It's really funny to see.
It is funny.
Because I'm like, holy crap.
I should repost the one where like that guy who's like the basketball or the baseball one, where it's like, oh sorry, I hit a homer, just swinging by to pick it up. I'm like, and then I had to reply, I'm like, if you just took the second to write that.
Yeah.
First of all, you sent me a baseball emoji, and then you wrote this hilarious write up to follow it.
Yeah.
All I said was, this is the most creative DM I've ever received. Like, not saying I liked it, not saying I didn't like it. I'm just saying, this is very creative.
Yeah.
And then he replied with, I don't even remember the player, but he was throwing the basketball backwards, and he went, it almost went in the net, but didn't. And I'm like, he's like, this is what I expected it to be like, but now you're actually replying. I'm like, oh my, this is awkward. Now I don't know what to say. Yeah.
Did the conversation stop there? It
stopped there.
It stopped,
yeah. If he goes to like, well, not to like sue him, but I mean, I already did post about it, but he goes to like U of S. I'm like, how do you even know who I am if you go to University of Saskatchewan or Saskatoon or whatever it is? U of S, where is that?
I think that's Saskatchewan.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Probably.
But I'm like, this is weird now. You don't even live here, so I don't even feel bad about not replying.
That's wild. Who would you say is like the biggest segment of your followers? Is it mostly females, males?
Oh, it's males.
Oh, yeah.
I have my profile set up as a business.
Yes.
Just so not like I'm trying to target anyone, but I do, because my job at
It's
Kissing
totally part of your
Country
job. It makes sense.
I love analytics and
Yeah.
figuring out like how long do people watch videos for, because I get to figure out all that information.
Yeah.
And so that's why when I structure my videos, that's why I'll put a little teaser at the beginning of it, and then the opening slide, and then the video, just to get them
Nice.
hooked.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's totally a learning curve. But yeah, my Instagram is very, very male dominated.
Yeah. Makes sense.
But it's like, I feel like that's any girl.
Yeah.
Honestly, like, if you don't have your business set up, or your profile set up as a business, then you just don't know. But I guarantee you, most of them are guys. Especially if you don't have a girlfriend, or if you don't have a boyfriend.
Yeah, yeah. For myself, like, I have mine set up as a business too, because, like, honestly, most of my new clients come from Instagram.
Yeah.
That, and funny enough, Central. Like,
No way.
I've had
Yeah, because I
people-
saw you at Central. I'm
Yeah,
like,
it
wait,
was
but you
awesome.
were working hard. So I was like, oh, okay, I'll talk to you later.
I was hustling, and then, like, I got back to that spot, and I was like, where'd she go? Oh, shit.
Yeah, dang it. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But yeah, like that night, for an hour of each shift, sometimes I have to do busing, and that can get pretty wild.
Yeah.
Because, like, everybody's drunk, and
Yeah.
you're a grown-ass man picking up some empty glasses.
You're like,
and it's
oh,
like,
gosh.
oh, here we go again, trying to bulldoze through the drunk people. But it's cool to see people that, like, I'm connected with on social media and stuff, because, like, then you can actually start those conversations.
Yeah, like, this is the longest in-person conversation we've ever had.
I know.
This is crazy.
And we've chatted lots on social media and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, you've showed me, like, how to do cool titles on the Instagram
Oh, yeah,
stories.
I remember
I
that.
was like, that's so handy.
It's honestly so cool.
Yeah. Like, I didn't even think about, like, doing each letter individually to make it look nicer. And then I've done that trick sometimes, but it is very time consuming.
Oh, yeah. And the thing is, you have to kind of envision it before you do it, or else you're
Yeah.
like, and I gotta erase and do it. But then you have to individually drop each one in the trash can. I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'll just restart. I'm like, oh, this is too much.
What year would you say you had the biggest surge of followers with your Instagram?
Oh. I'm gonna go with... it might have been back when... Okay, either when I started working at Kissing Country. I actually used to have an app, but then the app, now they make you subscribe to it, so I'm like, oh, I'm not paying $7 a month to see all my followers go up and down or whatever.
That app is, like, bad.
Yeah, you get so addicted to
bad.
watching all this stuff. And I'm like, or like you see people that you know, you're like, why'd you unfollow me? And then I'm like, no, Chelsey, don't be petty. Don't DM them and ask, because you know what? I'm like, oh, so I don't even look anymore. But I would say that the biggest following that I got was either when I started Kissing Country, or started at Kissing Country in 92.5 The Chuck, or just because they're like, I do a lot of stuff on social media with them,
Yeah.
which means I get more content even for my own, because I'm always behind the scenes. And either when we were still allowed to, in the Oilers, we're not allowed to post too much on social media anymore, but maybe when we were allowed to still post.
Okay,
Yeah.
nice. Was it exciting for you, or you're like, meh?
As a girl, when I first started on Instagram, like watching everyone's following go up, it always was kind of a little bit of a game.
Yeah.
Not like kind of like a personal game where you're like,
Yeah.
oh, I have all these followers, like this is so much fun. Now it's kind of learning how to target them, or kind of not, because I work with 4 radio stations, and I always
Yeah.
want to post the things that they would find relevant, or that, like, with my own personal brand, I guess you could say. I find that pictures of me doing something always end up working better than just posting a picture of scenery.
Yeah.
So and that's the hard part, is sometimes I feel very vain doing that, but
Whatever works.
it gets you followers, and then that seems vain talking about it like that, but also everything's
for
a
you,
business.
It's okay, because this is how you put food on your table. Like,
Yeah.
This is your job. So as you're learning and you have a good attitude, you put out a good message that's positive for people. So it's not a bad thing.
I know,
Like,
I'm like,
if you were one of those glamorous people putting out a message that you're only cool if you wear, like, this bikini, and
oh yeah, I know, this
Yeah.
is annoying.
that would suck. But the message is good.
Like,
However,
this jean jacket that I'm wearing is my sister's.
nice. Nice.
Yes, I was walking through. I'm like, can I steal your jacket? Okay, bye.
So what is your family structure like? Because mostly it just seems like it's you and your dad just chilling kind of thing.
Yeah, so it's actually a very crazy dynamic. So everyone used to live in Fort Saskatchewan.
Yeah.
And from there, my parents ended up splitting up when I was in junior high. And my brother and sister, they went and lived with my mom, and I lived with my dad. But like we would switch houses and everything. But my mom and my new stepdad actually ended up moving to Sarnia, Ontario with my brother and sister.
Okay.
So they ended up staying there for quite a while my dad and I still lived in Fort Saskatchewan. And for anyone that's not watching, I'm doing a hand diagram right now. It's hard to explain. I need to like map it out in my brain. So then they moved to Sarnia, Ontario. My brother ended up graduating there, and he wanted to do fine arts with Concordia University in Montreal. So he ended up moving there, and he's an amazing photographer. Chelsey Jensen. Anyone wants to check him out? This is a little push for you. You're welcome. Awesome. So now he goes to Concordia University in Montreal. And since my sister, she's 14, just a little baby, still definitely looks a lot older than me and is a lot taller. And she knows that. Very good at doing makeup. She has moved with my mom and stepdad now down to Cypress, Texas. And so they live there. And my dad and I still live in my dad lives in Windermere, and I live in Fort Saskatchewan still. So we're very spread out. And then my grandparents, they live all over. They live in Tabor, and then they also live in Salt Lake City, Utah.
Holy
So yeah,
crap.
everybody is just everywhere.
How does everybody stay in touch, or is it just one of those things where you don't talk to somebody for a long time?
Team iPhone.
Oh yeah.
We group chat all the time.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So how often would you say you keep in touch with everybody? Like daily?
Daily.
Weekly, daily?
Oh yeah,
Nice.
definitely. At least if we're not talking, at least once a day, or like because my dad's brother, who's not Chinese, he lives in China because him and his wife are English teachers that travel around the world.
Yep.
Very, very cool.
Yeah.
And they actually adopted a little Vietnamese boy named Pablo.
That's
and then they
awesome.
also had a daughter when they were living in Norway. And so it's the craziest dynamic, but they live in Shanghai. And so they'll be sharing pictures of like what they're up to, like especially on Christmas. They're sharing pictures the day before Christmas here because it's way ahead over there.
Yeah.
And then we're sharing pictures of what we're doing here, and we're pretty much talking all the time.
So, aside from your dad, which family members have had like a big influence on who you are and made you a resilient, goal-driven person?
Golder, I'm going to go, if it's not my dad, it would be my grandpa, because that's pretty much where my dad gets all of his qualities from. My grandpa actually used to lay carpets.
Yeah.
And back in Tabor. And it's funny, whenever we drive around with him in Tabor, he's like, oh, I've been in that house. Oh, I've been in that house. I'm like, Grandpa, it's a small place. You've probably been in all of them.
That's awesome.
And yeah, it's awesome because we would go to Safeway and he freaking knows everybody. I'm like, yes, I'm Elma's granddaughter. Yes, I'm Elma's granddaughter. But it's really awesome. My grandpa's very motivating like that, where even just when they tell me that they're proud of me, I'm like, oh, like that's really awesome. But he used to lay carpets, and now that he lives in Salt Lake City, Utah, he works as a denturist, which is nothing that he ever went to school for, or he never really had like a desire to be a denturist, but he helps make dentures at a denture clinic just to pay the bills. And he's
awesome.
Really good at it. I went for a tour, and it's actually a really cool thing to watch.
Cool.
Yeah.
And life is wild. Like, people can change careers like big time.
Like laying carpets, making teeth.
Yeah.
It's super weird.
Night and day.
Oh yeah, very, very odd. And then behind that, I'm gonna have to go with my aunt, because she is. You want to see, if you think I'm positive, you got to go talk to my aunt, because she'll blow me out of the water. My aunt is amazing. She's also very very fashion forward, so she helps me a lot with that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I just am very grateful to have all the people that I have behind me, pushing me to be who I am.
And it's so cool that despite all these geographical distances, like,
Team
you're able
iPhone.
to stay in touch.
Yep.
That's good for people, because like so many people have these things that change, and it's just like, just because you can't live close to the person doesn't mean you can't have a good relationship with them.
Oh yeah. Like, I definitely can't say I talk to them all the time, but when I used to live with my dad, we would FaceTime my sister at least maybe, I think, like twice a month.
Nice.
So sure, I don't get to see her all the time
Yeah.
in person, but when we do get to hang out, especially now that we're older and we don't like bicker. I mean, I'm a teaser, so like if someone's sitting there, I'll go up and like press the sides of their like stomach area, and
Yeah.
I'll give them a little tase. That's what we call it. But like, I like teasing everybody, but whenever we're together, at least recently, we get along, and it's really awesome that we can just like enjoy each other's company.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
It's good to have that kind of like a support group. Because then you have your people that you can lean on when things happen, when shit hits the fan.
Totally. And like my aunt really gets like, if I'm having like relationship problems, I'm like, hey,
Oh yeah.
what do I do? Because she
Yeah.
listens to so many podcasts and reads so many books about all this stuff. And yeah, she helps me a lot with that.
So she's
That
like a
department.
guru.
Oh yes, the love guru.
That's perfect.
Yes,
That's
no
awesome.
Jack Black, but oh yeah.
So how about like friends? Do you have friends that kind of are in your corner kind of thing, or is it mostly just family and you just keep to yourself?
Yeah, actually, well, okay, so kind of back to my crazy family living everywhere.
Oh, yeah.
When my parents split up, I actually hung out with this one family a lot, the Bows. They pretty much helped raise me.
Oh, yeah.
Because when my dad was on night shifts, I was so young that I couldn't stay home by myself, so I would go to their house. And it was really cool because even to this day, that's actually who I live with right now, just while I'm waiting to kind of figure out like where I should move and get my own place or like getting a roommate and all this stuff. But they're not my family, but they're my family.
Yeah.
Through and through, I will never not consider them my family. It's pretty awesome. Like I've never had to I never had to knock on the door going to their house. I would just walk in. and they've always been just, we got you, Chelsey. And it's really awesome that they're like my family. I call them, it's funny because when I'm explaining stories to people, I'm like, oh yeah, my sister Alex. I'm like, they're like, wait, you have a sister named Alex? I'm like, no, hold on. She's my friend that I call my family, but I'm calling her my sister. She's just a friend. Like, it's confusing. I just call them my sisters because that's just how close we are.
Yeah, and it makes sense. Like, I think it's pretty easy to find people that become your family.
Oh yeah.
Like, I have a lot of friends that have sort of become family to me just because of that close-knit bond of like, we got your back and it's mutual. And those are the kind of people that are going to keep you resilient, that are going to pick you up back on your feet kind of thing.
Oh yeah.
And I like to focus on that aspect in the podcast to sort of like reaffirm to people that sometimes it's not so much about like money, it's about like having good people around you.
Yeah.
Like at the end of the day, that's what we need. $100 bill is not going to make you feel better.
Yeah.
It's having like really good people that make people feel better.
And I think that if this world would be a very different place if everyone would just build each other up rather than trying to tear them down.
Yeah.
It's actually really cool, kind of just talking to what you just said. Last night, I was actually stopped at the gas station, and that has nothing to do with that. But I was at a gas station, and I just flipped open my phone because I just naturally go to Instagram.
Yeah.
And this new Empowering Women account that was started up in Edmonton, they posted a thing that says, what does it mean to you having it all? And I'm typically not one to reply like big paragraphs or sentences at all really on posts, but I had saw that nobody had commented anything yet, and that really kind of hit me. I was like, having it all to me would mean you're happy.
Yeah.
And then people are like, oh well, you need to have money, you need to have a car, you need to have a place. Yes, I understand that, but like, if you can have the bare minimum and you can be happy and grateful for everything that you have in your life, I think you have it all.
Yeah.
I will never, this is where my dad comes in, I will never associate having it all with having that fancy Mercedes or living in a mansion or having a boat or all these crazy things or going on these crazy vacations. Do I love vacations? Yes. Like any other person, I love it. But I don't think that you need to have all these luxuries to be happy. I never think that money buys you happiness.
Agreed. We're on the same page there.
Like, I have a borrowed jean jacket on.
Everybody borrows something.
Yeah.
Ironically, this shirt I'm wearing is a hand-me-down from one of my best friends.
Oh, really?
So I can relate to the whole, like, this wasn't mine to start with, but now I'm wearing it today.
Yeah. Or sometimes the best is when they're like, oh, where'd you get your shirt? Or I'm like, actually, I got it on sale.
Yeah.
It's a big name brand, but I didn't pay that money.
Well, I mean, Winners is the place to go. That's where, like, the diamond in the rough clothing is found.
Oh, yeah.
Talking about vacations, what's the coolest place, the most memorable trip you've had? And it doesn't have to be far away. It can even be close.
Ooh. Okay. Memorable vacation. I'm gonna go San Francisco. So my family and I, we went to San Francisco. Actually, no, that's a lie. I take that back. That was the best family vacation. I went to San Francisco. The best vacation I've ever been on was with my sister friend Alex and our friend Daylene. and we got to go. I'm a huge baseball fan. Not so much. Everyone kind of makes fun of me because I cheer for every team, but so they call me a baseball enthusiast. So okay, I'll take it, whatever. But we got to go to 2 postseason Yankees games at Yankee Stadium, and I get so pumped just talking about it. But that was electric because that wasn't our initial goal for going there, but we ended up just at the games because they happened to be at the same time, and I was like, oh, perfect. And the funny part was that those two have already been to New York, and they're like, oh yeah, let's go to both games that are in New York. And being a sports fan, I'm like, those are gonna be so expensive.
Yeah.
And it was funny because I got the first tickets, and I was like, okay, are you guys cool with paying? It was like, I don't even remember, it was like 100 plus American. They're like, what? Normally the tickets are $20. I'm like, no, you don't understand. It's postseason baseball. This isn't the same. Yeah, and then we ended up going to 2 games. So I don't know how we managed that, but we ended up going to 2 postseason games, and they wanted to go to Coney Island later in the trip, which for anyone that doesn't know, it's an amusement park. And I was like, okay, well, being a sports fan, I don't really want to go to Coney Island, so you guys can go to Coney Island, and I'm going to go to a Rangers game by myself. Then I made 2 great friends when I was there.
Holy crap.
So, yeah.
So, what lessons did you take away from that trip?
Oh, that even if you go on a trip and you want to do something on your own, go for it. I think that if your friends want to go do something else, you go do your own thing. Because if I were to have left New York and been like, oh, I really wish I would have went to Madison Square Garden, that would eat me alive. Because that was the coolest building ever. And the coolest part about it is that I actually have this really good friend. His name's Jeff from... he lives in New Jersey, actually, but he works for NBC Sports. Yeah. And he was like, okay, if you're going to the game, come beforehand, and I'm going to take you on a tour of the NBC Sports, like the desks and where their master control area is, which is the job I used to do. Yeah. So I get really nerdy when I talk about all that stuff. But he let me take a picture on the desk, and we're like, where the NBC Sports Rangers guys sit. I'm like, wow, this is freaking cool. That's so wild. But like to anybody else that isn't in like TV or like doesn't care about sports or whatever, like, oh, a desk, whatever. I'm like, no, we don't understand. But then it was even cooler because when I was at the game, he's like, hey, make sure you're paying attention to the Jumbotron during the first part of the game. Yeah. I was like, okay, like I was gonna watch anyways, but now I'm definitely watching. And I'm standing there, and then all of a sudden this big screen comes up, and it's like, Rangers welcome Chelsey Jensen. I was like, whoa, what? Is this actually happening? That was the coolest thing.
Did you get it on video?
Yes, I have videos and pictures, and because he also had his friend that was sitting up in the media area take a picture in case I missed it.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah, it was really cool.
How did you become friends with him?
I'm gonna go with social media.
Nice.
I think it might have been LinkedIn again.
Yeah.
But yeah, and it's crazy. I don't remember when they hand out the awards, but he actually just won an Emmy. Yeah, I know, really crazy, right?
Holy crap!
Because all of a sudden I saw a picture of him. He's holding this freaking Emmy. I'm like, wait, is this actually you? Like, I know this. I'm looking at you, but is that actually what's in your hand? Is this a fake? Is this Halloween? Is it April Fool's? What's happening?
Do you ever learn like new tricks to improve your craft from friends like that? Absolutely.
I think that especially it's a blessing and a curse that I love talking, but it's helped me so much because of all the networking that I get to do. Yeah. It's like even when I'm at Rogers, I'll be walking around and pretty much like, hey, like security guards, media people, pretty much anything. I'm just like chatting. But I think that being able to watch or even just follow on social media and see what other companies or people are doing, and then you build from that. Totally. So everybody is just helping everybody.
When you go around Edmonton, have you ever been recognized because of your social media account?
Yeah, actually. It's actually happened quite a few times, and I feel really bad because I'm a person that I always want to remember your name. I want to remember where we met or remember something about you. But when somebody comes up to me that I genuinely have no idea who they are, but they're like, hey, you're Chelsey Jensen, right? And I honestly die because I'm like, how do I know you? How do I know you? How do I know you? Yeah. And I'm like, ah. And then they tell me, they're like, oh, I follow you on social media. And then right in person, I'll admit to the fact that I don't follow them. And I'll follow them right in front. I'm like, oh, what's your username? Because because I can't follow everybody back. Because sometimes I believe that if you don't want to see, like, if you aren't interested in someone's content, I wouldn't follow them. Yeah. But if it's somebody that you want to be their friend, like if somebody comes up to me and they went out of their way to come say hi to me, like that means so much because I never expected that ever. Yeah. Ever. Especially because my job is a behind the scenes radio person.
but your brand is very, very outgoing.
It's but that's where I have a hard time. You ever heard of imposter syndrome?
Yeah.
I definitely suffer from that sometimes because I'm like, is this actually happening? Like the other day, if he listens to this, I'm gonna be a little embarrassed, but okay, well, I'm gonna tell you because this is probably a very cool story. But I was leaving the game. I was leaving Rogers and to go check out. I had to go downstairs and sign out in the little scanning system that we have.
Yeah.
And I'm walking downstairs, and Kevin Quinn looks at me. I'm still excited just thinking about this. He looks at me and he's like, "Hey, you're Chelsey, right? Chelsey Jensen?" I was like, make words. Don't be weird like this. And I'm like, oh yeah. And like, obviously I know who he is. I've been an Oilers fan. I see him on TV all the time. I see him in the hallway, but I don't want to ever be like, hey, Kevin. But he doesn't know who I am.
Yeah.
But yeah, he came up to me and was like, hey, like I follow you on social media. This is actually where it comes from. And he's like, I follow you on social media. And I just want to say, like, you're doing a great job at being positive and promoting just a happy life. And you're doing really good in your workplace and just your career, and I'm really proud of you. And I was like, and then I had to be all confident, and I was like, oh, thank you so much. Like, I see you all the time. Like, I really appreciate you saying that. I literally turned around and started crying. And then I walked down the hallway to go find my friend Monique, who works on the ice maintenance crew, and she thought that someone said something mean to me because I was literally came around the corner and I had tears streaming down my face, and I hugged her and I was like, the coolest thing just happened. And she's like, oh, okay, thank goodness. Like, first of all, I thought you were crying and I was going to have to go beat somebody up. I'm like, no. I was like, Kevin Quinn just told me like that, not only because it's cool because he's on TV. I didn't think he would know who I am.
Yeah.
And I would never expect him to know who I am. And so the fact that he was reaching out to me to say that he sees what I'm doing and is really proud of me and just like is taking note. I'm like, and follows me on Instagram. I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
And I was crying because I was like, that is literally the coolest thing. And I'm trying to fangirl, but it's really cool. And then like last night, he's like, hey, I saw your dad got married. And like we shook hands and said Merry Christmas. I'm like, what's happening?
That's awesome.
Yeah, I was bawling like a little baby.
But it just goes to show if you stay focused, you stay in your lane, you have that good attitude, gratitude, then things just kind of happen.
Yeah.
They just fall into place.
It's true.
Like, I was watching the Oilers game last night, and I elbowed my buddy, and I was like, she's going to be on my podcast tomorrow. And then he was like, what? How
do you know this girl? Yeah.
And it's just like so many different people, because I've had Rob Clark on the podcast.
Yeah, you listened to that one.
Such a diverse assortment of people.
Yeah.
And it's just keep a good attitude. If you want somebody on the podcast, you ask them to be on the podcast, and it usually works out.
Yeah, when you message me, I'm like, wait, are you being serious right now?
Totally.
I know, I didn't. See, but that's where I'm like, what? Like, really? That's really cool. Thank you. I probably thanked you like 400 times. I thanked you again last night.
Yeah. But like, it's a great attitude to have. And it's fun having somebody on the podcast that is actually excited about it.
Yeah.
When people are like, whatever, man. Like,
no way. Oh gosh, that is never me.
No, nobody's actually ever said whatever, man. Most people, 99.9% of people are pumped to be on
And if they do say whatever, they're internally excited but don't want to admit it.
Probably. Fun fact is an upcoming guest, it probably will be the next episode, Ryan Jones.
No way.
Yeah.
No way. That's really cool.
Really cool. So I was chatting with him and I was like, do you think you'll be able to make it happen? He was like, well, I'm in Germany. I'm like, yeah, I know. And then he was like, how would we do that? And I was like, Skype? And he was like, I'll have to check and make sure that my wife's phone has Skype. Like, that just goes to show, like, the kind of humble, true to life person he is. Like, he's just like everybody else. What kind of stands out for me with him is just how community oriented he was and how much he would just build up everybody that he was around. So really looking forward to that episode.
That sounds amazing. Just to kind of tap back into this one more time, but one more person that really, this has nothing to do with my family now, but that really helped me, besides Brian, helped me become who I am in this industry is Gene Principe. And I would definitely, if you need another enlightening or positive person to talk to, I would definitely talk to Gene.
Yeah.
I got to be his studio assistant.
Yeah.
That changed my life, obviously.
Seeing Gene Principe in a hot dog suit, like...
Every time you Google his name, that's like the second picture that comes up.
And I've seen it so many times. And he owns that role of just, like, wearing whatever he wants, having those, like, corny jokes and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
What's been your most memorable interaction with Gene Principe?
Oh, man. What hasn't been memorable? Okay, I'm going to have to go, when Todd McClellan was the new coach, I remember him texting me and being like, hey, I need you to bring some craft paper. And obviously I'm like, oh, what are we doing? Like, what are we doing tonight? But he was doing the Todd father scene, and he even brought in a trumpet player, and Gene is starting the game, but talking like the Godfather, and I'm sitting there like I had helped him make all these little props that were behind him. I'm like, what is happening? But it's just like, it's so funny because that's totally up my alley. I'm like, this is awesome. It's like, so the fact that he's breaking that mold and doing whatever he wants to do, obviously within constraints.
Yeah.
But yeah, just watching him do his thing. It's crazy. Or we had Chris Colabello from the Blue Jays come on one time, which I was like, because I love baseball. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
No, I have like professional Chelsey, professional.
That's fair. Yeah.
But yeah, seeing him and Gene talk, and I'm like, what? Like, this is crazy. And Gene told me the script that he was that he needed to read, so then I wrote this script on a giant like poster paper. And so watching that and watching them interact, and it's also just cool seeing somebody that's so positive and be so high in their career. I'm like, that is so cool. Like, you don't have to be, not that you don't have to be rude. Nobody's rude.
Sell out. You can just be normal.
Just be you.
Goofy.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
It's really cool. Yeah, he is. Yeah. Oh, great guy.
Hopefully he listens to this.
Yeah, hopefully he listens. Well, I'm kind of hoping Kevin Quinn doesn't listen to this. He's going to see me and be like, Chelsey, come on.
That'd be awesome. So we're going to wrap it up. We're going to go to the last question that I ask every guest. So if you could give one piece of advice on how to authentically live your life to the fullest, what would that piece of advice be?
I think I've said it about 400 times. I'm going to have to go with positive. Being positive and just taking every single thing that happens in your life and looking at it glass half full. Always thinking the better side. Never getting down in the dumps, because once you get down in the dumps, you're just digging your own grave.
Yeah.
So I think just keeping it high, keeping it positive, and keep smiling.
Such a good sentiment. Thanks for joining me today.
Thank you so much for having me.
You bet. Enjoy the rest of your day.
I will. Thank you.